Welcome to the video review of Transformers Generations Orion Pax. Now, I will say just from the get-go that this figure is freaking awesome. I love this figure, and I hope that I can convince you to love this figure as well. It is in your atypical Optimus Prime camo here of red, gray, a little bit of yellow, and blue. But the overall feeling of the figure is just one of pure solidness, especially in robot mode. It's just a well put together figure that has a lot of posability, and we'll talk about the posability in a little bit. It also has very nice sculpting. My only complaint, and I only have one real complaint, is that the paint on the plastic used in part of the shoulder is a slight different shade than the plastic on the outer shoulder. Don't know why. The only thing I could figure is that the parts come from different factories. That's the only thing I can figure out. He also has a really nice head sculpt that has light piping, which you can see the clear light piping here where my finger is, but it is affected by his little head brace, we'll call it. The head sculpt of the figure is great. It is a very young Optimus Prime, and I adore it. There is a little bit of glue left over right there at the top of his head from the bonding process, or the process of making the figure, but that is easily fixed with a little X-Acto knife. Overall, just the sculpt on his face is fan-freaking-tastic, and I adore the Autobot symbol and just the molding here in his chest. It's just excellent. Plus the painted on headlights here on his chest, or upper chest, is just really, really exquisite as well. Deluxe class Orion Pax comes with two different accessories. His gun that, well, let's face it, that looks like a minor de-evolution of Optimus Prime's main gun, and this sweet battle axe, which is a smaller version of the battle axe he wields in the Transformers Fall of Cybertron game. Just a really, really nice set of weapons. You got your long range and you got your short range. You got your blaster and you got your piercer. And yeah, just really, really nice. This figure has excellent posability. The head is on a ball joint. It is somewhat limited simply because your thumbs and fingers are going to hit this back plate. Arms are on a swivel and then a hinge, then a swivel underneath that, 90-degree bend at the elbow with ratcheting joints, and his fists do rotate, whole 360. Hips do, or torso I should say, does rotate. Hips, ball joint, swivel joint right underneath that, and then it looks like a ratchet joint, but it's actually just a really tight hinge joint. And then there are ball joints at the feet. However, be very forewarned, the one ball joint on the figure's right foot is incredibly tight. I've even shaved down some of the ball joint, popped it off and shaved it down, and it's still very, very tight compared to this, the other one. And I don't know how well you could see it, but there is already some wearing on the plastic there for the transformation, which we'll get into in a minute. But overall, this guy is very, very posable, and you can get some truly fantastic poses. But you guys know that I suck at posing figures, so I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying. Pax's transformation is probably one of the most interesting takes on an Optimus Prime transformation I've ever seen. It's really nifty and pretty darn cool, too. To start off with, what I'm going to do is first take the legs and do the typical 180 rotation. The hands fold up into the forearms, then put them straight out to the side, and push the head down. Now the head locks into place very tightly on this figure, so you have to give quite a bit of force to get that head into the chest. And then just drop that little back plate over his head. Then take the entire chest section and lift it off of the rest of the figure. And there we go. So lift it off and kind of angle it straight forward, or at as sharp an angle as you can get. Then the wheels from behind the figure can be rotated forward. Then the whole front chest section can rotate to the back of the figure, and you can bring the wheels all the way to the front where they will kind of lock into place. Next, for the arms, we are going to take the arms and just kind of fold them on these double hinges and get them such that they fold flush up against the back of the figure. Take the actual forearms and rotate them so that the silver parts are pointing towards the outside and fold the arms down. And then we'll do the same thing on the rear. Unfortunately, the arms do not lock into place in this way, in this mode. Then come up to the shins and actually pop the shins off from the figure and off to the side like that. And then you can bring the legs together and just kind of peg them together. And then there are peg holes underneath where the shins are, right where my finger is. And they will have the pegs that are on the back ends of the forearms, peg them into place. Taking a look at the figure now, we'll take the pieces that we folded out from the shins and kind of pull them forward. Then we can take the feet and rotate them around, and they will fold up underneath the legs. And because I did things a little bit out of order, everything's coming apart. But as you can see, they fold up underneath the vehicle mode. And I don't know why, but they have thrusters. That is a little weird. Last but not least, we will take the sections that were once the shins and bring them forward and flip them over the front of the vehicle, or over to form the front of the vehicle, and flip down the grille. And here we have his vehicle mode. This vehicle mode is probably one of my favorite Optimus Prime-esque vehicle modes we've had in years. I love this thing. It just looks so cool, and you don't see a truck like this. It feels like an old Cybertronian truck. It really is neat, and you could see how Orion Pax could go from this into, say, his War for Cybertron alt mode, a much more like battle tanky or battle truck alt mode. You still have the really cool looking chest plate up front. It's just an overall really nice looking alt mode. Yes, it does feel a little bit on the small side, but that doesn't bother me all that much. Now, you can easily attach the weapons into him in this mode. Each side, he can hold his weapons. So you have this weird tractor-trailer gun axe mode thing. Yeah, it's a little silly, but I still like it. Transformation back into robot mode is just as easy and interesting. I just really like this transformation. It's different, you know? It's just something we haven't seen before, or it's a unique way that a future Optimus character would transform, and I really do appreciate that. Oh, and this is the foot that I was talking about earlier that I need to shave down again. It's just a fun transformation, plain and simple. Now, as we're doing this, I want to actually show you guys something about the directions, and we're going to leave this part up here transformed normally. We're going to pull up the directions here, or reach over to them. And they have the robot mode with the hole that is drilled into the back of the butt of the figure pointing forward. But that's not right. According to Hasbro's own publicity stills, that is incorrect. And even on the comic book that comes with the figure, as you can see, he has a glowing orange or yellow crotch. Continuing the transformation back, just make sure you got to get things out of the way first. Typical Transformers. That is probably the hardest snap you're going to do with the figure. Now, the other issue that you want to be very careful about is you've got these little protrusions here that are in vehicle mode. They are the side view mirrors, though I don't know how they're going to be any use. They actually tab into this little section where the tip of my thumb is. And that I am worried about breaking in the future. And they do come undone, but they're very, very easy to get back in place. So that is probably the only thing I would be wary of, is just that tab, or the plastic that connects to that tab feels like it could break at some point. I don't think it's going to, but it is something to be aware of. Overall, Deluxe Class Generations Orion Pax is definitely a must-have. I mean, the figure even comes with the IDW Orion Pax one-shot. This is an incredible value, and this is an incredible figure. Hasbro and Takara should be definitely proud of themselves. They've made a truly fantastic figure, and you should have no qualms about putting it in your collection. So guys, I have been Baltmatrix, and we will catch you next time.